I've been walking these roads under stars and the rain, asking questions that circle,
Welcome back to Vibe
yet come
Podcast's
back
Conspiracy
the
Club.
same.
Today we're discussing
Every
using
story
facial ID
I
with the
hear
Charlie
holds
Kirk
a
shooting,
flicker of
a
you,
topic researched for us
but
by
it
David Morgan.
falters and
I'm joined by Charles and Angela. We will be mixing in some visual elements to the podcast to make it more interesting.
Hello Alice, I'm Charles, a criminology expert, and frankly, I'm quite skeptical about the uncritical application of facial recognition technology in sensitive cases like this. There are too many variables and too much room for error.
And I'm Angela, a true believer in the power of facial ID and other AI tools like PIM-Eyes to unlock difficult cases. I think the precision and speed of these technologies are invaluable in modern investigations.
Excellent. So, David's research today is really focused on how AI software can be used to compare images related to the Charlie Kirk assassination case. We're going to dive into a few specific examples with facial ID applied. Let's start with case 1. We have an image of a Utah hairdresser and another of the individual who shouted USA, USA at the UVU shooting event. Facial ID apparently says these two are the same person, despite what seems like a very incongruous detail, the USA shouting guy having ginger dreadlocks. Angela, what are your initial thoughts?
This is precisely what makes facial ID so powerful. It sees beyond superficial elements like a hairstyle or even perceived persona. If the underlying bone structure, the biometrics, match, then the software is telling us something incredibly important. The fact that it finds them to be the same, despite the dreadlocks, just proves its ability to cut through superficial disguise.
With all due respect, Angela, this is where my concern begins. Incongruous is an understatement. A hairdresser with ginger dreadlocks who looks to me like a drug dealer who also happens to be involved in a shooting event and shouting, USA. This screams out for more context and verification, not simply accepting a software's output. Facial ID might say they're the same, but is it accounting for lighting, angles, age, or even deliberate attempts to alter appearance? This could very well be a false positive, driven by the limitations of the AI, or even biased source material.
A fair point, Charles. Let's move to case 2. Here, we're comparing the person called Dark Suit Guy, who apparently wore aviator dark glasses, might have a bionic arm, and drove a green Nissan Armada, with a person named Twiggs, who was reportedly the boyfriend of suspect shooter Tyler Robinson. The text mentions that some military personnel received bionic prosthetics in 2025. Facial ID software found these two to be very alike. Angela, the plot thickens with the bionic arm detail.
Absolutely. This is fascinating. The fact that the AI found them very alike, coupled with the specific detail about military bionic prosthetics and the connection to the suspect's boyfriend, it suggests a potential deeper link that facial ID is highlighting. The software isn't just looking at faces, it's indicating a strong resemblance between individuals with potentially very specific, unique characteristics. It demands further investigation into their connection.
Angela, we're conflating external details with facial identification here. The bionic arm and the Nissan Armada are not facial features. While intriguing, they are peripheral details being added to a facial ID match that merely says, very alike. Very alike is not identical, and the 2025 detail is purely speculative and forward-looking, not evidence for a current match. My concern is that we're looking for connections so eagerly that we're allowing an AI to draw tenuous links based on potentially manipulated or insufficient visual data, leading us down rabbit holes based on coincidences, not definitive proof.
That's a valid distinction, Charles. And finally, case 3 presents us with Robbie Hild, who assisted in creating a route map for the Kirk shooter and a younger Tyler Robinson. The comparison is noted as potentially unfair, due to the age difference, yet facial ID software still sees these two young men as alike.
Even with an age difference, if the AI is flagging a similarity, it's significant. It means that the core facial markers, the structural elements that define a person's face, are present and recognizable despite the natural changes that come with age. This isn't about looking identical, it's about detecting underlying familial or personal resemblance, which can be crucial in identifying individuals who might otherwise evade detection. Remember, a jury will potentially convict Tyler Robinson with a death penalty on looking like a grainy CCTV image.
potentially unfair comparison should be a massive red flag, not a minor footnote. Comparing a current image with a younger version introduces immense variables. The AI is making a judgment based on a limited dataset and could easily be misinterpreting developmental changes or simply picking up on very common youthful features. Again, a like is not confirmation, and if the initial comparison is flawed due to age disparity, the AI's output is compromised from the start. But I see your point about CCTV being used to identify a killer. You need much more proof.
This brings us to a critical point raised in David's research, the possibility that all these images were modified by the same artist, Nano Banana. The text suggests this could be a factor in drawing them alike, drawing a parallel to forensic sketch artists who sometimes develop a default face. Charles, this sounds like it might reinforce your criticisms.
Absolutely, Alice. This is the linchpin of my argument. If the source material has been influenced, manipulated, or even subtly stylized by a single artist, then any AI analysis performed on those images will simply inherit and amplify that bias. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem. If Nano Banana starts with a fog of dots and then subtly shapes faces with inherent similarities, the facial ID software isn't finding objective truth, it's finding the artist's underlying pattern. This fundamentally undermines the reliability of any findings generated from such images. It's not the AI's fault, but the data it's fed.
While I agree it's a factor to be considered, AI is also designed to be robust against minor artistic variations or stylistic choices. If the underlying biometric data, the measurements, the ratios, the distances between key points, are consistent, AI can still discern genuine similarities. We can't simply dismiss the power of the technology because an artist might have touched up the images. The AI is looking for much deeper structural commonalities than an artist's personal flair. It just means we need to be aware of the source, but not automatically discredit the findings.
So, whether it's a testament to AI's power or a cautionary tale about its limitations, it's clear that the use of facial ID in complex cases like the Charlie Kirk assassination sparks significant debate. That's all for today. A big thank you to our guest researcher, David Morgan, for providing our topic and the images we looked at. I should also explain to Charles that Nano Banana is a software artist, not a forensic sketch artist.
Every story I hear holds a flicker of youth, but it falters and fades when it's missing the truth. For the truth you need proof, for the proof you need truth. Like the river needs stone, like the sky needs the moon. For the truth you need proof, for the proof you need truth. And the answers will come, though they never come soon.